PokeBabs! Hey guys, welcome back to PokeBabs. Today we are looking at round number 2 of the August PokeBeach tournament. And again, we're using that Medicham Carbink deck. We've gone up against the PRP 30. See Psychic Colorless, and could actually be Trevenant, but the Mega Mewtwo coin makes me wonder if it maybe is Mega Mewtwo. So we start out with a Meditite, and might have to end on our opening turn. We'll see. We see a Shaman start from our opponent, which doesn't really tell us much. We see a Shrine of Memories, so that makes me definitely think it is Mega Mewtwo. Probably Mega Mewtwo Y with the damage change Mewtwo as the base Mewtwo-EX. We see an N, which is great because we didn't have a great hand, and this is not much better, honestly. Actually, it's probably worse. But hopefully we can get something like a Karina or an N or a Sycamore or something like that. We see a Hoopa-EX. You do get rid of a Mega Turbo with that Ultra Ball. See a Trebuch come down, so that could present some issues, I suppose. Carbink's ability is shut down, as well as Regirock's ability. So, not huge parts of our deck, but just means it's going to be a little bit tougher for us to stall with Carbink. We see an energy go down to Mewtwo, and we draw a level ball, which is pretty good. We will Professor's Letter for 2 fighting energy. Take a look through the deck, see what we've got in there. Looks like we've got 1 Medicham prized. We do have Shaman in there, which could be useful. N is there as well. And only 2 Sycamore, so a Sycamore prized as well. So we'll see what happens here. Probably on the level. Well, I could either level ball now or hold off and wait for wait for next turn and maybe get a Medicham, or I could level ball for Carbink now. But getting the Carbink down now would be good so that we could get the break next turn, but I don't know if that's all that likely, so may need to just go down the route with straight Medicham. See a VS Seeker for an N, which, okay, so that works too, I guess. Maybe it would have been good to get the Carbink down in that case, but, and our opponent can't take a knockout because we are weak to Psychic. And the Psychic weakness, again, it's probably not that big of a deal because of Focus Sash. Just because we expect to get knocked out in one hit anyway, usually with for the Medicham, so they can do as much damage as they want, and we don't mind. The damage swap on that, on the other hand, though, does get through the Focus Sash. So we see the Mega Mewtwo come down, and because of that Shrine of Memories, they can still use Shatter Shot from their Mewtwo-EX, so they still will be able to get the knockout. We see them grab a Garbodor. Do they have a Float Stone as well to go with that? That would be next question. We just see the attack from Mewtwo, and we'll send up Hawlucha with Free Retreat. And now we're in a bit of a tough spot. We may need to Shaman here. We will be able to get a. We could get a. Well, let's see. The other option is to just go straight for the Medicham, but then we put ourselves in the awkward situation of not having anything else next turn, and I mean, we are going to replace the stadium, so we will be able to avoid the damage swap unless they replace the stadium again. So we'll see what happens there. We're going to opt for the Shaman here. There's a lot of outs, and this way we can play down our hand before we before we play our Shaman. If we would like to. So we're definitely going to put down Fighting Stadium. That's very important. We can put the Focus Sash onto Hawlucha, and we will set up for 6 cards. Again, Karina would be great here. We actually just draw into the Medicham right away, and then we can use Battle Compressor to get The supporter we want in the discard pile. So I'm going to Battle Compressor. I'm going to get rid of... well, let's see. I think we probably want to... Well, we don't want to end this turn because they have such a small hand size. We may just want to use Karina this turn, but since we have 2 VS Seekers, would be wise to put something like an N or a Sycamore in there. Maybe... I don't know. I'm not sure which one is best. I think N is probably going to be fine. And then we will VS Seeker for the Karina. And this way we will get ourselves even more set up. Maybe we can grab a Carbink here, and another Battle Compressor would be an option. Maybe another VS Seeker, but that depends on what we want to do next turn. Megaphone could be useful in case they get... Well, Megaphone could definitely be useful if they get the Floatstone on Garbodor. Or if they get a Spirit Link down and they aren't able to Mega Evolve. With only a 2-card hand, I'm somewhat hopeful that we have options here. We are going to go for the double Yoga Kick. And do some significant damage, do 140. And it all comes down to whether or not they get the Shrine of Memories. And they also need an energy. So they do need a little bit to be able to even use Damage Swap. And if they can't use it, we will actually be able to take knockouts. Take a knockout on the active and then maybe hit something else. So we do see the energy comes down. We see setup. It all comes down to whether or not they get that Shrine of Memories here. It would be pretty bad if they got it right now. See a Trainer's Mail. They grab a Floatstone. Okay. As long as they don't have a Shrine of Memories, though, that is the main thing that we're concerned about. Let's see. So they played the AZ this turn, so they don't have a supporter. The question is, will they put the Floatstone down right now? We did play down a Startling, or we showed that we had a Startling Megaphone because we got it with Karina. So it kind of depends on if they notice that. We'll see what happens here. Just a Psychic Infinity, so they are holding off. Not putting it down yet, as it's not particularly useful, but Psychic Infinity does not knock us out because we have that Focus Sash. And we're going to be able to take a knockout this turn. We're going to put down another... Let's see, we probably are going to end this turn, especially because they got a new hand. So we can... I won't use the Megaphone yet because it'll be useful later with Garbodor, possibly. But could put down tools. I'm not sure where the tools need to go at this moment. A Focus Sash on a Carbink could be good, but at this point I'm not even sure if we're going to how much Carbink will come into play. So we'll see what happens. But N, and we do get another Medicham and another Meditite. Zygarde is even a decent option just because it doesn't have the Psychic weakness, and it does have more HP. Level Ball for a Carbink. And we do have a Sacred Ash, probably not useful at this point. Was hoping to get an energy down this turn. Didn't happen. And I don't know, we could bench the Zygarde just so that we have an attacker next turn, but we have to retreat with Hawlucha, so we will just go for the Yoga Kick for the knockout, and then what are they going to send up? We are going to get another hit out, which is really nice. We do get a Fighting Energy and a Karina, so that's really great. And let's see, we're going to Yoga Kick the active for 70 more damage. If we could hit that 90 damage, it would be even better, but assuming they are going to Mega Evolve, it's not as effective. We see a Shrine of Memories, which does come down. Now, they can't use Damage Swap this turn, so I'm not all that concerned. I guess they could use Damage Swap if they Mega Evolve and Mega Turbo. That would be a possibility, I suppose. Actually, they'd need double Mega Turbo, so probably not all that likely. And we just see a Shatter Shot for the knockout. We'll send up Hawlucha with that Focus Sash. We draw a Focus Sash, which is kind of nice. we will grab a Carbink break, and we will be able to set up another Medicham this turn. The item following could be a Megaphone, but maybe it would be better to get... I mean, Floatstone can prevent us from getting Lysandered in the active, installing this out, but no. Battle Compressor seems good too. We do have 2 strong energy in the deck, so it would be nice to get a stronger Medicham powered up, which we'd be able to do right here with this Battle Compressor. And we'll get rid of the 2 strong, or I guess there's already 1 strong energy in the discard, so we'll get rid of 1 strong energy, a Professor Sycamore, and a Hex Maniac. Probably won't need the Hex Maniac, but the Sycamore could be useful. I'm going to put the Focus Sash on Medicham. We could put it on Carbink, but I don't really care if the Carbink gets knocked out. I do care if the Medicham gets knocked out. And they will still need a Floatstone in order to get that knockout on... They'll have to get a Floatstone on Garbodor to get a knockout on Carbink, because damage change or damage swap would not get a knockout. It would just move the damage to nowhere, because Carbink still can't be affected by it. So it all comes down to whether or not they get the Floatstone. Even still, there is a chance that we could get a knockout next turn, even with a damage swap. See a VS Seeker. They do get the Floatstone down for an N, which is okay. Our hand was fine, but this might get us something else to get started with. All right, so we got some fighting energy. Karina. We just see a Shatter Shot for 60, so not too bad. We do have a Floatstone. We can retreat with the Floatstone, and we can take a knockout this turn. We'll also use that Karina. Probably going to grab a VS Seeker, and I don't know, we could grab another Meditite. I'm not sure if there's going to really be another Meditite, or if we're going to really get another Medicham set up, but it's possible. It's possible we will. And we'll put an energy on there. Just get it ready to go. We do have an energy in hand and a Medicham, and we can Yoga Kick. The Yoga Kick, the first one will get a knockout, which is great. We'll draw 2 prizes, and then we'll see what they promote. There's another Sycamore, so regardless, I guess we were going to be okay. And they do send up Garbodor, so our Yoga Kick will not get a knockout, only going to do 70. Wasn't going to get a knockout anyway, but we'll only do 70, and we'll see what our opponent can do. They don't really have a whole lot. I can't imagine they have a whole lot left in the tank here. They end up discarding energy with that Sycamore, and almost out of VS Seekers. 6 energy down, which isn't all that much. We see a Mewtwo come down and a double Colorless go down, which means they actually can't attack with it. We just see a retreat into the Hoopa. We could get a knockout here if we can get a Fighting Stadium. I'm not sure if there's any left, though. But the other option is just go VS Seeker for a Lysander. And that's the easy way to do it. So we'll see what happens here, what our opponent wants to do for Game 2, but we do get a win in Game 1 with this knockout on the Shaman. Hitting through the resistance is key. So, see what happens here. My opponent does choose to go first for Game 2, and we will Yoga Kick twice for the knockout. So, even though we have the weakness against us and the damage swap, if they can't get things going, we're actually in a pretty good position. It seems like Garbodor does present... The only issue Garbodor presents really seems to be capping our damage a little bit lower, and the issue with Carbink, the safeguard being shut down, but that's not too bad. And so we'll see what our opponent can do here. Can they make a comeback, or will we be able to close this series out? And going to go into game 2 here. So let's see. I think I like the matchup though, just mostly because EX attackers are always good for us. And so our opponent will go first here. See what kind of a hand we get. All right, we mulligan. Our opponent does get a Pokemon though, a basic that is, and we will get a new hand here. We mulligan again, unfortunately. Let's see what happens here. We get a Regirock and a Carbink. We can put down Zygarde as well. We'll start with the Carbink for now. I think if we can, we would like to go the Medicham route once again because the prize trade and just the fact that Focus Sash is really useful. We'll see here. They started Mewtwo, which is better start from them than last time. They do put down the Shrine Memories right away, which is because they're going to Sycamore, but I'm happy to see that. That means one more down for them, and we can bump it. We see another Shrine of Memories, so they're maybe anticipating an early bump of the stadium. We will not be doing that this turn, though. Unfortunately, we won't be doing much at all. I think it would be good to get down some other stuff, though. We do have a Floatstone, so I'll put down the Regirock and Zygarde, just so we have ourselves in a good position in case they end. We can play the Megaphone, but I'd rather use it to get a Floatstone off of a Trubbish. So we just see a Mega Mewtwo though, so we could have maybe forced them to end their turn, but right now they can't actually attack our Carbink. So for the moment we're safe. We see a Sycamore once again, unfortunately not an end. And wow, they got rid of a lot of stuff there. Looks like they got rid of... Well, they got rid of that second shrine, which actually is a pretty big deal, I'd say. So that's part of why I'm wondering why they even grabbed the shrine off of the Trainer's Mill. I don't think that was necessarily the right play. But the more shrine memories that are out of play, the better for us. So Hoopa gets out some more Mewtwo's and a Mega Turbo onto the active. A Floatstone going down onto Hoopa and a Shaman setup for only 2 cards. Can they get a Trubbish down this turn? If they can't get a Trubbish down this turn, that does bode well for our Carbink. We do get a Fighting Stadium, although I don't know how useful it would be to put down at this moment. Rather see if maybe we can force them to discard another Shrine of Memories instead of just letting them bump our stadium back. Also, we're not going to be attacking this turn, so it's just not very useful. And they won't be using Shrine of Memories either. So we see another Mega Mewtwo come down with the double colorless on it. We see another Mega Mewtwo coming down to end their turn, so 3 Mega Mewtwo, which is definitely a lot to get through. We still haven't gotten an energy. We still haven't gotten a draw supporter. But thankfully our opponent is in an awkward position as well. We do have an AZ in hand, though, in case they try and Lysander bring up Zygarde or something like that. We did get the Meditite down, but we could have been in danger of a Lysander there. Thankfully, they did not have one. They play an N, which bails us out. And maybe we have a little bit... Maybe we can finally get something started here. That's the goal. We could get a Carbink breakout. We could get some energies onto a Meditite, perhaps. Our opponent does get the Trubbish down, finally. And we see just pass to our turn. We have a VS Seeker, which is fantastic. So now we can pretty much do whatever we'd like this turn. I think what we're going to probably do is get the break. And then VS Seeker for like a Sycamore or something, discarding some strong energies. That would be, I think, the best route of play here. And yeah, I think so. We don't have any energies in the discard at the moment. So here we can get rid of 2 strong energies and then like a Sycamore, which I think will put us in a great spot. I do grab Lysander and a Sycamore, but and a Karina as well. But yeah, I think, like I said, the strong energy play is the way we want to go. Not really worth getting those other supporters in the discard at the moment. Oh, almost grabbed a Hex Maniac there. Not what I wanted to do. We grabbed that Sycamore, and wow, we got a bunch of energy. Another Carbink. We have a Fighting Stadium, which could put down now, but don't think it's necessary. In fact, it's kind of nice to, well, I mean, it could be a decent thing. Now, we could put down the Fighting Stadium now to do a little more damage, but we're just going to do 30 thanks to that Regirock. And now we've softened up the Mega Mewtwo, making it a lot more likely that we can take a knockout next turn with a Medicham, if we can even get one. At the moment, we don't have a way into Medicham. See a Floatstone coming out into Trubbish. Will they get the Garbodor this turn? If they do, they can get a knockout. We see VS Seeker for an N, which, again, our opponent, they might not realize it, but they're really bailing us out here. We didn't have a way into Medicham. Now we may get one here. We do get a Medicham. We get a VS Seeker. We get Level Ball. We got a lot of stuff going for us. We have another Strong Energy, so we might even get to the point where we can start attacking Mega Mewtwo's for one-hit knockouts, essentially using Yoga Kick twice. See another Mega Turbo onto the Mega Mewtwo, but the fact that we didn't see a Lysander on Meditite is nice, and the Psychic Infinity will take a knockout for 160 with Garbodor being in play now. So we'll send up Regirock. It's got free retreat. And let's see, we top deck a Karina too, which is also a fantastic top deck. We can start to get another. We could either get another Carbink break, or we could get another start working on another Medicham. So I'll play Karina, and yeah, I think we could grab Carbink break. I think that's the way to go. That way we can set up another. That way I can feel comfortable maybe even putting a strong energy on the Medicham that we already have. We got a Megaphone. I think that Professor's Letter is going to be more important, making sure that we have. I would think the Professor. Well, maybe I'll grab the Megaphone. I don't know. It kind of just depends whether I want to stop them, whether I want to force them to get a Floatstone. I don't know how many Floatstone they play. They already have 2 down, though. So we might be in a really good position. This way we can do more damage with the Regirock, too. So, especially since we're getting rid of 4 tools, that's kind of nice usage. And we'll see what happens. If they can't get another... Floatstone, then that's really good. We do 100 damage now with the Yoga Kick, which is just a little shy of half the Mega Mewtwo's HP, but thankfully we did do that 30 damage earlier, and we are going to be able to take a knockout. And we get a couple supporters off the prizes. Not bad at all. What will our opponent do here? If we can get a one-hit knockout next turn with something like a Fighting Stadium or another Regirock, I think we'll be in a fantastic position. I don't know what our opponent will be able to do. If they can get a knockout here, like get rid of the Focus Sash and take a knockout, that would be pretty big. We see an N out of our opponent, which is a little unfortunate. We did like our hand, but perhaps we will get an energy here. We do get a Professor's Letter. So our hand is fairly unchanged. And another Level Ball. So we can get out a... Or we also have the Karina. There's a lot of different options here. We see a Floatstone, unfortunately, come down onto Garbodor, so we won't be able to take one-hit knockouts at the moment. Although, like I said, if we can get a Fighting Stadium, we would be able to do enough. We don't top deck that, though. We'll use Karina. And let's see. Could grab another Meditite, I guess. Or even Hawlucha could be nice. Just because it can do a lot of damage for one energy. We still have the Level Ball as well, though. And we'll grab a VS Seeker. Would love to play a 0-6 on that float stone, but yeah. Now we do have three fighting energy left in the deck, so we will be able to Professor's Letter, get an energy onto Carbink Break, and then we could Focus Sash the Medicham on the bench as well. Not sure if we need to do it this turn or not. Our opponent, I don't think, played any Megaphones though, so or they didn't show it at least, so that's good. We'll put an energy onto Carbink Break so that we can Diamond Gift next turn onto the new Medicham, and we could Level Ball here just to get another card out of our deck. Perhaps that Hawlucha, or perhaps another Meditite. Probably not of huge consequence. We'll put down the Meditite just in case something weird happens and our opponent's able to take a couple knockouts quickly on Medichams. And just Yoga Kick for 90 twice. So they can damage swap here. But if they do that, we can just we will be able to take a knockout fairly soon anyway, because they still have 80 damage on themselves. So kind of a nice little synergy with the Focus Sash keeping damage on us. Draw a Carbink, which isn't very useful. And now, if we put the energy on Medicham last turn, there might have been a chance we could have gotten a knockout, but then we might not be in a great situation now. So instead, I'll just put energy onto. I could either put it on a Meditite or a Zygarde. I'll put it on Zygarde. I will somewhat reluctantly put down the Carbink, and we'll just go for the Sycamore. So we do get a strong energy. Get a Fighting Stadium. I think we will put down the Fighting Stadium, because if we... Well, let's see. Actually, if we don't put it down, then we're only doing 20, which actually is a good thing, because then that means they can't damage swap for the knockout. So I'm actually not going to put down the Fighting Stadium, even though I could double. I could swap it out twice. So this way our opponent either can take a knockout or they can damage swap and not take a knockout. Either way it works for me, I think. Because we will be able to get a knockout on the Mega Mewtwo next turn. Barring some crazy situation where they get rid of Medicham. So we see a damage change. Putting 100 damage on us and taking 0 for themselves. So just doing some math here, but it should be enough. 30 plus 3 strong energy plus a Fighting Stadium. I could AZ. That would put the energy in the discard, but it would take the damage off our field and allow us to set up another Carbink Break that's fresh. And now we'll see what, let's see, so we will, yeah, just doing some energy counts. There should be one left in our deck and maybe one in our prizes. That sounds right. And we will Yoga Kick twice for 110, which is enough for a knockout, thankfully. We'll see what our opponent can do. I'm not really sure what they can do, because if they don't have a Megaphone or a 0-6, they can't take a knockout on the active, and we will knock out whatever they send up. They could stall for a turn with Garbodor. To see a... Okay, so actually, if they retreat into Mega Mewtwo now, we need the Fighting Stadium, so if they like end us, that would be one option. But we do have the Fighting Stadium in hand. The other interesting thing is if they bring up Garbodor, or if they leave Garbodor active after we knock it out, Well, let's see. We actually aren't knocking it out, I don't think. Let's see. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Yeah, not quite, but they send up Mega Mewtwo, just kind of Psychic Infinity, not taking a knockout, and we do have the Fighting Stadium, so we will be able to take the final knockout with a double Yoga Kick. Who would have thought Medicham would be taken out? 210 HP, Mega Mewtwo's. Easy as that. So, opponent just maybe not really a great matchup for them, really. And we're able to take the series 2-0. So, it's nice. We are now 2-0 in the tournament, which is a great start. And there was that 0-stick in the prizes. So, yeah, I think we're looking good. And let's see how much damage we did this match. 870 in this game, so that's a lot. That's a pretty good amount, I think. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we will see you with the next round. Bye.